Well, I'm really thrilled to be joined by Rob Lewis, the only England fan in Sri Lanka for the last series, the last time England played Sri Lanka, which was during COVID. Rob, you became pretty famous through this. Tell us about how you got there as the only England fan during COVID in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, so I went originally for the tests in March 2020, and it was one of the last sporting events that was still on and not cancelled from COVID. But while I was on the flight over, it got cancelled. I was over there with a few other England fans, but the Ministry of Tourism called everyone back. But I had my laptop with me and I can work remotely, so I was like, I'm not having this. Stayed thinking it would be like a month, and a year and a half later, I was actually still there. So
What was
yeah,
it like to be the only England fan in the crowd?
it was very surreal. It was like I never kind of planned for it to happen. It just kind of was building up to be like that, and we had a few issues with the police and getting up on the fort to view it. But
Famous
yeah,
fort in the
singing,
southern tip of Sri Lanka.
yeah, in Gaul, yeah. But yeah, singing Jerusalem every day on my own and singing songs on my own was just it was nuts, yeah. But yeah, try to do my best. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
What sort of interaction did you have with the England boys? They must have appreciated you being out there, the England players.
Yeah, it was kind of hit and miss. Noticed some didn't even pay attention to me, but some were loving it. At the end of the second test, like most of the team came over and clapped, and that was like someone recorded it on Sky Sports for me, and that was like amazing. That was probably like one of the happiest moments of my life. Like you can see it in my face, like my grin is massive. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So you had members of the England team coming around and clapping for one England fan in the crowd. That was when you met Joe Root?
No, I didn't meet Joe Root until the West Indies tour. His last one was captain 2022. Yep, it would have been 2022, early 22. But I've been messaging him on and off saying hello, happy Christmas, hope you're well, a few bits and pieces. But I finally got to meet him at the end of the third test. I was at the hotel where they were staying, and my friend stayed there also. My friends were meeting another England player, who I won't name. I ended up in a drinking competition with him, and bearing in mind I've been drinking all day on the very strong rum, it didn't go down very well. Like we were smashed, and I remember at one point Joe Root was behind me. I jumped up. I was like, "Oh, Joe!" Give him a big hug, and I don't really remember much after that. Apart from they just wanted to kind of like get away from me, and I haven't had much. I haven't talked to him much after that. So
Well, I can't push you for the name of the England player you had the drinking session with. That would not be appropriate.
No, I can't name that. But they do say never meet your heroes, but I never thought it was because you just only embarrass yourself in front of them. But there we go.
Another hero that you met was Andy Caddick. Now, you're also a DJ, Rob, and you have the epithet Randy Caddick.
Yep.
Now, this all came about when the players were saluting you in Sri Lanka, and the images were transported around the world of you as the only England fan. You ended up quite a celebrity. Tell us what happened then.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it was happening, like it really blew up. I was on like a lot of media. I was trying to raise money for the dog charity as well. So I was like, kind of like, if you let me do an interview, just let me just like kind of promote that. But it peaked when I got on Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid and Joe Root. It was just after he saluted me after he got his double hundreds, and it was like the biggest story out of all of it. So that was funny in itself. But on the show live on Good Morning Britain, they brought out Andy Caddick because of my DJ name, Randy Caddick.
They brought out the real Andy Caddick.
The real Andy Caddick, yeah. So I was like losing my mind. Like this is just so surreal and hilarious. It's really funny. So yeah, I told him on the show, like jokingly, that my dream was to DJ with a big screen behind me with him taking 4 wickets in 1 over on loop. So obviously that was a joke. So after the interview, I got his email address from ITV, and I said, I thought I'd never have to ask you this, mate, but is it okay if I continue to DJ with a quirky version of your name? I heard it was a bit of a stick in the mud, so I was kind of half hoping I might need to think of a new DJ name, but like fair play to him. He said, no, it's great. It'll be a good story for years to come, and you owe me a beer. So kind of happy with that. Still owe him a beer. I've still never met him. But this year, I did DJ at a very small festival where they had a screen, and I recorded the 4 wickets in an over. I had it playing behind me. It's so stupid.
Famous 4 wickets against.
Yeah, against the West Indies. Yeah. So I had a video of that, and I emailed it to him just for a laugh, but he never emailed back. So I don't know. He must have thought I'm a right idiot or whatever. It was pretty funny.
Your relationship with the England team, you're obviously still a fan. Will you be? Have you been watching this series?
I've not managed to be into any games. I went to all of the Ashes last year, and it kind of killed me financially. I'm going to go to Lords on Saturday. That's day 3.
And tell me, what is the appeal of traveling and seeing the England team all around the world? I mean, it's obvious. There's lots of things that occur to me: the weather, the atmosphere, the bonding. But are you a member of the Barmy Army?
I am, yeah. So I wasn't before all of this. I really wasn't. It was a rare time I was going to see them abroad, but they did induct me into the Barmy Army lifetime membership.
Wow.
And I got Barmy Army of the Year, joint with Tony and Emerson and Marseille. They've not ever done that since, so I'm still reigning Barmy Army Member of the Year, which I don't know how much value that holds, but there you go. One of my few achievement in life, anyway. So it's on my CV.
As the reigning Barmy Army Member of the Year, what are your hopes for English cricket under this new regime? Baz Ball, Ben Stokes, obviously not playing in this series against Sri Lanka, but what do you hope for England with the we've got the India series next year, we've got the Ashes. How good are this England team in your view?
Yeah, they're great. It's been so much fun. So I've seen quite a lot of cricket since Ben Stokes took over, and it's just so entertaining. The Ashes was amazing, and just for one rainy day at the end of Old Trafford, I'm convinced we would have turned that round and won 3-2, which would have just been like extraordinary. Yeah, it's great. Cricket's never about the result. You go to football matches, if your team loses, it can turn a bit like volatile, but you don't get that in cricket. Everyone's just there to enjoy themselves. Away tours, you're going to exotic countries, and if they're not exotic, then I'm going to Pakistan in October, and that's you get some interesting memories come back from that. It's not really rest and relaxation holiday, but you do certainly get some interesting memories, like riding on the back of motorbikes with police with guns and all of this sort of stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, that's the test series that follows this one, away to Pakistan. Going back to this series then, Rob, got to ask you, as Barmy Army Member of the Year, what's your forecast? They're 1-0 up, 2 to play. What's your forecast for this 3-match series, England and Sri Lanka?
I mean, I obviously have a very big soft spot for Sri Lanka now. I pretty much support them almost as much as I do England. Head says 3-0 England, but I would love it if Sri Lanka won a game. They did so well in the first test when they were almost kind of gone in a few days, but they did superb. So let's hope they can win one, maybe at Lords, and then it goes 1-1 into the Oval, and then yeah.
I think they've got a good chance at Lords, 5-1. They are outsiders, but the way they performed in the first test, they've got a really good chance. They've got a really good chance in this one. And what is it that you most like about Sri Lanka and Sri Lankan cricket?
Good question. I guess it's just like when you go to I've been to a few games there, So I've been to obviously Gaul, but I've been a few times afterwards. I saw them play the West Indies, I've seen them play Ireland. I've been to Pallackelly in Kandy and the RPS in Colombo. The fans are just crazy. It's so different from watching in England. Everyone wants to talk to you. The cricket is, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just entertaining in different ways. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a completely different side to cricket because I've just obviously been brought up watching England cricket and see how we play, and we have certain techniques, bat properly, bowl properly, and you watch Sri Lanka and they do it completely different. I had Mutaya, who with his weird action, Malinga the slinger, and all the batsmen they've had, like Sangakkara, one of the greatest batsmen ever. I mean, it's awesome just to see all these players with different styles and play cricket in a different way. But yeah, it's great, superb.
Yeah, Sri Lankan cricket is wonderful. So Rob, look, for cricket fans, you're living the dream. You're traveling around to all these places, even watching neutral tests that, like Sri Lanka versus West Indies. How, if someone wanted to achieve your lifestyle, how do you manage to? You've got your DJing. Are you working remotely? How do you manage to organize your life in this dream way?
Yeah, I do work remotely, so there is work that goes on in the background. DJing is a hobby. I don't get paid for that. I'll get paid occasionally, but nothing to like fund a lifestyle.
Not yet.
But yeah, I mean,
gets known more. You could be earning your big money there.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd be able to do like a professional DJ life and this, so it's just a hobby basically. But yeah, like it takes plenty of work. You just need to basically set up whatever job you have. Just if you can set it up remotely and you can have the discipline to do that, then there's no reason why like lots of occupations could do that. Yeah.
Well, Rob Lewis, aka Randy Caddick, Barmy Army Member of the Year. Thanks very much, Rob, for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of the series.
Thank you very much, David. Cheers.